Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus. I think we've done it. Oh my God, we're live again. Hello, hello. I think this is gonna work. Oh, sorry for the confusion. That was frustrating. We back. Okay, yay. I can see you guys. Oh. Shanes, can you now see me, Shanes? Shane. Sorry to keep saying Shanes. I can see you, Mars says. Okay, good. We're back up. Jesus. Yikes, y'all. That was fun. Anyways, let's pray that this thing doesn't go down again, because that would just about be my luck. It seems like once a week something goes wrong. Shane says my phone was just being dumb, I think. Yeah, well, mine's been dumb today, so. Internet can't keep the Pluto gang down. I feel you. Sadie is in a rereading mode, rereading Picture of Dorian Gray, as well as The Collector. What else are people reading? Yeah, definitely repeat the question, Shane. Sorry that I missed it the first time. We're gonna ignore that live stream. It didn't even happen, Mars says. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what you're talking about. There was no other live stream. This is the only one. Now we'll just see if the other one uploads to YouTube and confuses people too. So probably will. I'm trying to convince my friend to read some of Jonathan Franzen's work, but he's incredibly turned off by Franzen. Thinks he's a pompous turd. Should I bother trying to convince him? Your friend is not alone in the world. Yes, you should bother trying to convince him. I'm not a big proponent of the belief that there are really any works out there in the entire world that people absolutely have to read. Like, I'm not a big believer in must reads, because I think we are better off. Like, there are really good books that I think we would all benefit from reading, but I think we are also all better off by having this like diverse set of knowledge where not everyone has read the same stuff, and there's not this like monoculture of ideas, and people have absences in their life where they haven't read, for instance, War and Peace. That's a big absence in my life. I have not read War and Peace. So all that is to say, there is no, I don't believe in like everyone having to read a certain book. That said, Franzen is worth reading. There are probably other people who are more worth reading, but I think you can probably make a really good argument. I could probably make one for why Franzen is worth reading, and you should definitely convince your friend to read Franzen. I think The Corrections is one of the best books about that time period and the absolute insanity that was like American culture at that time, American thought at that time. Yeah, like The Corrections is, and Freedom too, for that matter. Like, they're both amazing novels about the time period and characters. Yeah, that's my short take. Those who make revolution halfway only. Wait, what? Those who make revolution halfway only dig their own graves. Anyone seen the film? No. Victor, tell me more. That is a hell of a title. Finished Killing Commintadore a couple weeks ago. Enjoyed it. Tell me more about Killing Commintadore, because I gave it to a friend as a gift, and I gave it to a friend as a gift. I know a friend who got it as a gift. I'm really curious. I want to know, is it good? Yeah. I just read Neuromancer, The Trial, and What Video Games Have to Teach Us About Learning and Literacy. Heck yeah. What do they have to teach us? Enlighten us, please. I would like to know. You have read a book that I have not read, and I would like to know from you what video games have to teach us. Shane says thanks. Thanks, Shane. That was a good question. Have you read House of Leaves, and if so, what are your thoughts? Salty, I have not. However, earlier this year, at the very beginning of the year, I said that there are 5 books that I'm 100% definitely going to commit to reading this year. On that list, let's see if I can do this without knocking absolutely everything over. Yikes. Was House of Leaves. So I've got the like really nice edition. I'm definitely gonna read it this year. I've actually opened it a couple different times and looked at it, and I love the looks of it. It just feels like it's such a book, like it's such a thing, and I love books that are self-aware of themselves as books, and this sounds like it's one of them. So I'm very excited to read it. Let's see here. What's up, Pluto gang? Steven says, Steven, hi, I miss you. Hope you're good, dude. Oh, just about dropped that. Hey guys, I thought I missed it for a second there. Don't worry, there were all kinds of technical problems that you're probably thankful you didn't miss, or that you did miss. At least it's not like the one time that I completely dropped my phone and had it upside down or had it sideways and real people, real veterans of the live stream know what I'm talking about. Yikes. Ryan, when there are so many, Sadie says, Ryan, when there are so many books that you want to read and you wish you could read all of them at the same time, which one do you pick first? How do you pick first? I'm struggling with this. I struggle with this literally all of the time. I don't have good answers. I will say the place that I am currently at is a place where you give yourself a little bit of grace and you relieve yourself of the pressure to pick correctly, and you let the books pick for you. And what I mean by that is, I've talked a little bit about this on the channel already. If you don't know, Sadie knows, but I'm sure, but other people might not know. My goal for this entire year, which I'm doing really well at, by the way, is to open a book every single day. I'm not trying to read a certain number of pages. I'm not trying to force, other than a couple books, I'm not trying to force certain books down the hatch. What I am doing is I'm opening a book every single day. And the idea there, one of the ideas, is that what I am reading, if it interests me, it's going to catch me and I'll want to read more. If it doesn't interest me terribly, maybe I'm just opening the wrong book that day. For instance, this is not something that I expected. Let me grab an example real quick. So I recently devoured a book like this last week that I never really would have expected to like or to own, but I read it really quickly and I really enjoyed it. And that's like a random book on rock climbing. Like, what in the world? This is not a book that I set out to read this year, but I don't know what it is about it that grabbed me either. Like, I know Tommy Caldwell a little bit from some other stuff that I've read and watched, but like the story of the Dawn Wall, which was this big climb that he spent 7 years trying to read. The story of the Dawn Wall just kind of grabbed me, and all of a sudden I didn't want to read anything else. And like, that's not because I know something about the Dawn Wall or I forced myself to read it. It's because the Dawn Wall just like grabbed my attention and my desire and took me along for the ride. And in a world where there are so many books that you're never going to read, don't read the ones that you don't like, that don't grab you like that. That's my opinion right now. I think there are exceptions, but that's the weird place I'm at right now. So, if that makes sense. Let's see. Sorry, I'm way behind on comments. Victor says, it's intense, man. 3 hours long. Filmed in like 5 different aspect ratios. And only 30 minutes in, a girl stabs her dad over a mid-dinner fight about politics. Yikes. 10 of 10 movie. That sounds crazy. Mars says, Killing to Mensadora was pretty solid. It has problems, but it's fun, and it's interesting stuff going on with metaphor/ideas. Pretty philosophical, and that's the focus. So, characters suffer. As tend to be the case in philosophical books. That's okay, I still have a weak spot for them. Pooja says, hey guys. Hey Pooja, how are you? Did I mispronounce your name? Please let me know. Let's see. Yeah, Salty says it pairs well. House of Leaves pairs well with Infinite Jest. Yeah, that's definitely... It's been on my radar ever since reading Infinite Jest for that reason. The video game thread. A lot of talk about effort, challenges, and gamification. People are more invested in learning something if it becomes like a game, and games often reveal things about the player. This is my girlfriend to a T. I love you, Megan. She's not here. She's working. But she is the most competitive person I know. And trivia, the skill of knowing random useless facts is something she's really good at, because if she knows the facts, then she gets to win the game, etc., etc. So, Transash says, hey, Ryan, do you ever indulge in sci-fi novels? And if so, have you ever heard of Red Rising? Is that about Mars? Is Red Rising about Mars? Please let me know. I think I maybe know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. Uh, a like says, like the stream, guys. It's friendly for the YouTube algorithm. And I think after that, someone disliked it. That's about my luck these days. Yeah, I appreciate you. Like, you know as well as anybody that I don't do it for the likes. So, but I appreciate you. Thank you. He's trying to look out for me. He or she, a like. Crap, I don't know you. He or she or they. I don't know your gender. Sorry about that. Mars. Excited for Dark Age? I love the Red Rising series. So much fun. God, sorry I'm really far behind on comments. Yeah, Sadie, I mean, I've got here down are all books that I need to read. And I had a conversation with a coworker today about one of the books that is on this list. And if you don't think that that makes me really badly want to stay up all night reading that book tonight so that I know what I'm talking about when I go into work tomorrow, yeah, it stresses me out. At some point, I'm just getting numb to the stress of like not having read the books that I think I should have read, though, if that makes sense. God, I love live streams. I like getting to talk about this stuff. I've missed it for the last couple of weeks. Red Rising is about Mars. Well, it takes place on Mars. Is it a trilogy? Is it new or is it pretty old? Is it like 30 years old? Because if it is and it's a trilogy, then it's the set of books I'm talking about. But if not, then I have no idea. Let's see here. Iron Gold was pretty good. Golden Sun was the best so far. I don't know what that's about. Have you ever made a video or talked about what I talk about when I'm talking about running? Sort of sounds like your thing. You don't know how often I get that, Vitor. I get that a ton. I still have not read the book, though, so that's the first thing. I have a lot of friends who have read it, like in the running world and in the writing world, who think that it would be good for me as a runner, and I hope to. But, yeah. I'm friends with the author. He's nice. Cliff. Red Rising is new. Oh, cool. That's cool. Also, hi, Cliff. I don't know if you've ever been here before. Hello. Ash, I don't know if you've been here before either. So, hello. His name is Pierce. Sweet. I'll have to check it out. Red Rising. I like it. Pierce Brown. Very cool. I do like sci-fi. Speaking of... Where is my power in? I found it. Speaking of like books that I really enjoy, like letting them grab you, sci-fi is so good for that. Like it sets up a series of good answerable questions. Basically, how does the world work? A lot of times, and then it just like, then you get to go on the roller coaster of figuring out those answers. And if it's a good book, then along the way you are entertained and also you think about interesting things. And I love sci-fi for that reason. Like the Ender's Games books are the perfect example of that for me. I like your channel, Cliff says. Thank you, Cliff. I like your comment. That's really cool. Yeah. That's sweet that we know somebody who knows Pierce Brown. That's awesome. Vitor, that's huge. That's great. Congrats on being on doing the running thing, being a runner. Can I confess to you guys really quickly my favorite writing quote? All right, WRITING, writing quote that I discovered this week. Is that interesting to you guys? I know we don't talk about the craft of writing a ton on here, but I am now doing it as my full-time job, which is beautiful. So I'm feeling really motivated in the writing department. Yes, quote it up. Mars says no. Okay, guys, I can't do it. Sorry. You have Mars to thank for... I'm just kidding. Okay, so my favorite quote about writing is the quote, "Ditch diggers dig." And the reason that is my favorite writing quote is I don't remember who is quoted as having said this, but basically the idea is like, writing is not pretty, writing is not fun, writing is not pleasurable most of the time. Most of the time, as a writer, you have to be like a ditch digger. When a ditch digger gets up in the morning, they go to work and they dig ditches. Ditch diggers dig. That's what they do. And writers write. And so the idea is, no matter what, if it's fun or not, you get up in the morning and you do your job. And the rewards come afterwards. And that is my favorite writing quote right now. Ditch diggers dig. Let's see here. You once recommended The Secret History by Donna Tartt, and I read it and loved it. Trust your judgment from then on. Cliff, you don't know how exciting that is to me right now, because the book that I maybe most want to reread in my life right now is The Secret History. And I can't do it. I've got so many other books to read. I can't do it. I need to reread all these Harry Potter books. So, that book blew my mind. Corpse of Milk. What is cheese? Corpse of Milk. Whoa. I like that. Let's see here. Oh, Ryan, I bought a copy of There the other day. I remember you mentioned that book and you know the author. Yes, I do. Sadie, thank you for asking this. This is the problem with having my bookshelves behind me. Tommy Orange. So, it's going to be behind my chair and I can't grab it. There, the really beautiful book, the cover design, the hardcover cover design. I don't know if the paperback is out yet. Really beautiful book. This is a good transition too. Thank you, Sadie. There, Tommy Orange. One of the better books of last year, in my opinion. I know Tommy because we went to a couple, I guess just one writing conference together, and we were in the same like workshop class. And that workshop was led by none other than Claire Vaye Watkins, who is incredible. Her book Gold Fame Citrus is really good. A lot of her nonfiction is really good. She had the really famous Tin House essay on pandering. Also, Battleborn won all these prizes for a collection of short stories. Anyway, she's the teacher, the workshop leader. So I'm like freaking out. I'm fanboying so hard. And then it turns out that one of the people in the class, the person who I like sit beside for the week that we're there a lot, and we geek out about Don DeLillo and David Foster Wallace and Thomas Pynchon the entire week, is none other than Tommy Orange, who has just finished the draft of his novel There, and who is like, I'm deciding how much to share here, but basically he's like on the come up. Like over the next year, we see him go from having finished a draft to having sold his draft to having like basically found the slot as like as like one of the big releases of the next year was going to be his book. So it was a very whirlwind. Like I don't know him super closely. I just know him from that, and we haven't talked a ton. But it was just really cool. Like I met him at a time when he was taking off, and the great thing about that is that I had no idea who he was at the time, and so we just geeked out about like David Foster Wallace, Don DeLillo, Thomas Pynchon. We read each other some of our stuff. It was great. Tommy is a very cool dude, and that book is fire. God, it's so good. Yeah. Yeah, On Pandering is really incredible. It obviously stirs the pot, like, lots of diverse opinions on that piece, but it's an incredible work. Oh my god, I rant so much, and I never get caught up on comments. Salty says basically this long message that I very much approve of, where it's like, don't stress about the books that you don't get to, because you're going to die someday, and you're not going to get to those books. I added the part about you're going to die someday. But yeah, I agree. Exactly. Vitor says, for a long time I was always waiting for inspiration before I started writing. For a while I've been forcing myself to do it, and it's been getting much better. So a good quote. Exactly. Like if you wait for inspiration, you'll always be waiting. Ditch diggers don't wait for inspiration to do their jobs. And writing, as sexy and as incredible as writing is, and as much as I love literature, it's nothing more than digging a ditch. There's nothing more romantic to it than that. If you want to wait for inspiration to come to you, be a poet instead. Yeah. Beckett has really changed the way I think writing can be. He got rid of everything to bring it to its bare essence. Yeah, Beckett is crazy experimental. What's the play of his that is just a pair of... I know that the screen just froze for a second, but I fixed it. Don't worry. What's the play of his that is just like a pair of lips on the wall talking? Give me 2 seconds. I need to do something. He's got some play that is just literally a pair of lips on the wall talking to people. Okay. I had to just plug my phone in because, once again, I'm terrible at technology and I forgot to plug it in and it was starting to die. So let's cross our fingers that it doesn't die now. Digging a ditch can be romantic, though. Victor, show me one situation. Take me on a romantic ditch digging date and I'll change my mind. Until then, no way. Sebastian, hello. Welcome to the channel. I don't know that I've ever seen you here. Sebastian, reading Underworld right now. How do you like it? First chapter of Underworld is the big baseball game, right? That's about as far into Underworld as I got. I really want to read it this year, at least very soon. I liked it. Isn't it? Not I? Not I. Yeah, exactly. That's the play. If you're doing it to bury a body, then yes. Vitor, that's... We're skipping that topic. Cliff has maybe my favorite quote of the night. Don't stress about the books you haven't read. Stress about everything, because everything is stressful. Yeah, agreed. Okay, so one more real quick story. Waiting for Godot, super good. Endgame, super good. Two of the best pieces of prose I've ever read. I liked White Noise better, though. Yeah, White Noise is very accessible. And I mean that in the best way. Sometimes accessible gets thrown around as a pejorative almost. Real quick story. So I mentioned this Tommy Orange thing, this story about somebody that I know getting a book out there and it doing really well. It's a really cool story. A book got published literally yesterday, and I'm going to be talking about it on the channel here very soon. And I got an advanced copy, an ARC, because I know the person who wrote it, and I had read... I'll talk about all of this in the review, but I just want to give you guys a teaser on this right now. I'm almost done with it, and I already know I'm reviewing it because it's that good. Like, I wouldn't review a book just because a friend of mine wrote it, but I will definitely review a book if a friend of mine wrote it, and I believe it might be one of the best books published this year. And that's how I feel about this book. Long story short, I'm not going to go all the way into it, but the book is 99 Nights in Logar by Jamil John Kochai, who was a friend of mine at the master's program in creative writing that I was in. And the coolest thing, I actually didn't know this until I got, this is the copy that I had ordered a long time ago. And then he also sent me an advanced reader's copy because he's a nice guy. And the ARC, and the ARC, they a lot of times don't show you the actual acknowledgement section or the dedication page because that stuff has yet to be drafted and formulated. So I didn't know this until I got the actual physical copy in the mail, and a friend who, you'll understand this here in just a second, my friend Zach pointed it out to me. You may be able to see this. In the acknowledgement section for this book, my name makes an appearance, which I think is really cool. And I'm just grateful to Jamil for doing that because I felt like I kind of grew up with this book as it grew up in grad school. So it says, thank you to a bunch of people in my entire cohort at UC Davis, which is where we went to school, but especially Ryan Horner and Zach Kennedy Lopez. Zach's the person who texted me. He helped me to figure out the timeline of this story. Is that not awesome? I'm geeking out a little bit, guys. Excuse the fanboy nature as I geek out a little bit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No. Can you guys hear me again? Why is it doing this? Dude, my phone hates me. Can you hear me? Oh my gosh. This is the worst. Cliff says Underworld is dope as hell. Cliff, I think you and I would get along very well. Underworld is dope as hell. You're dope as hell. You guys can hear me, which is great, but you can't see me. At least, once again, it did not pick a terrible picture. I'm not gonna redo the live stream. I'm gonna hang out here for a couple seconds. If you guys want to hang out here for a couple minutes, that's great. we can do audio. I apologize that the video is all messed up. This is frustrating me. But yeah. Salty says, it's 1:30 a.m. over here. Good night and thanks for your insight on professional writing, taking that gravedigger advice to, well, the grave. Thanks for hanging out, Salty. I really appreciate it. Michael, bad news. The live stream is frozen. We're basically doing a podcast right now. And it already froze once and I already had to restart it. So I'm not going to do it again. I'm just going to call it a shorter live stream this week. I'm frustrated. I don't know how to fix this. Like, is my phone just dumb? I wish I knew technology better. I wish I was better at technology. But anyways, that was my story. Jiggle the doohickey. At least you guys are good sports about this because user error. I appreciate you guys. You make it all worth it. On the plus side, now I can make I can make nasty faces and stick my tongue out at you guys, and you'll never know. Did I just do it? Maybe. So anyways, that was my story about 99 Nights in Logar. It is a crazy, fantastic book, and similar to Tommy Orange. I'll talk about it again, but on the channel another time. But similar to Tommy Orange, like, the reason Jamil and I get along so well is that he, like, loves DeLillo and pension and that kind of stuff, and also has this crazy, complicated view on the world that I like, that makes me think twice about everything, and he does meta stuff in this book super well. I don't know. I am hyped for the book's like 2 days old, so I'm really hyped for the launch of the book and to see how it does this year. But I think it could do really well. So, I was gonna do some reading from Kurt Vonnegut, which Sadie says this made my Monday night better. Mine too, actually. So thanks for hanging out. I was going to read some Kurt Vonnegut, but I'm not going to do that now that the thing is frozen. But I am going to read something else. And that is, if you paid any attention to any literature news this week, you know that last week, you know that Mary Oliver died, the poet. And we're in a weird time period where the death of celebrities does as much for, like, getting their work out into the world as anything else. And I had read some Mary Oliver, but there was lots of Mary Oliver that I had not read. Yeah, dude. Steven, of course Steven is probably the person who introduced me to Mary Oliver back in the day. Mary Oliver is beautiful, like he said. So I want to do my best to, like, also spread the Mary Oliver love. And I have maybe a couple poems to read of Mary Oliver's. They're generally pretty short because she writes beautifully and short. So I'm going to do some of that real quick. And yeah, got to do some reading on this live stream, right? I really like an invitation, Lead by Mary Oliver. Here is a story to break your heart. Are you willing? This winter, the loons came to our harbor and died, one by one, of nothing we could see. A friend told me of one on the shore that lifted its head and opened the elegant beak and cried out in the long, sweet savoring of its life, which, if you have heard it, you know is a sacred thing, and for which, if you have not heard it, you had better hurry to where they still sing. And, believe me, tell no one just where that is. The next morning, this loon, speckled and iridescent and with a plan to fly home to some hidden lake, was dead on the shore. I tell you this to break your heart, by which I mean only that it break open and never close again to the rest of the world. I think that last 5 lines is one of the best summations of what good poetry and literature can do. Break open your heart in the process of breaking it and never let it close to the world. Yeah, dude. Okay, since you guys like that, I'm going to do at least one more. That was Lead. Let's see here. Wild Geese is a classic, and I freaking love it. Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. That is the only poem that could possibly make me love geese. Mars, great question. I am honestly just reading from selected poems online, so no worries. I'm just reading stuff I googled. Like, I just read a bunch of Mary Oliver poems. So that one I think is from Dreamwork. Yeah. Sadie said, I almost cried. Those last lines, yeah. Yeah, dude. Just when my heart didn't need more breaking. My gut aches. Dude, this is... The beauty of it, though, is like, Mary Oliver was, what, 82, 83? Like, she devoted a lifetime to this, and look what good can come of it. Like, weird people are listening to a broken live stream, aching for how beautiful that is. Like, what good can come? Like, it's so good. The good is so good. Wish I could be this good, Vitor says. Okay, I got another one then. Yeah, this is a good one. This is on the same theme. When death comes. When death comes like the hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood, and I look upon time as no more than an idea, and I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy, and as singular, and each name a comfortable music in the mouth, tending, as all music does, towards silence, and each body a lion of courage, and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. That's When Death Comes by Mary Oliver, which is ultra timely. Her spirit is in this live stream, for real though. Steven, yeah, great recommendation. Great podcast with her on the podcast On Being with Krista Tippett. Yeah, great recommendation. That is goddamn incredible, Sadie says. Paul, I apologize for the brokenness of the live stream. It's been a day. It has been a day. We're doing it as a podcast right now for another couple minutes probably. Dude, she did not visit the world. You're right, Mars. She did not. Yeah, dude, no way. She did the damn thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like so much good came from this. Anyways, okay, I've got maybe one more. Okay, real quick, the thing about When Death Comes is if you go back and reread that poem could end in about 16 different places. Like you read it and you're like 4 lines in, okay, that's a poem. If you end it right there, that's a good poem. And then 3 lines later, okay, that's a good poem. And it just keeps going. Like it just keeps expanding. By the end, I'm just like shaking from how much it keeps expanding. It's so good. That poem was excellent. I agree, Dan. Thank you. Okay, one more poem. This is Invitation by Mary Oliver. Oh, do you have time to linger for just a little while out of your busy and very important day for the goldfinches that have gathered in a field of thistles for a musical battle to see who can sing the highest note or the lowest or the most expressive of mirth or the most tender? Their strong, blunt beaks drink the air as they strive melodiously, not for your sake, and not for mine, and not for the sake of winning, but for sheer delight and gratitude. Believe us, they say, it is a serious thing just to be alive on this fresh morning in the broken world. I beg of you, do not walk by without pausing to attend to this rather ridiculous performance. It could mean something. It could mean everything. It could be what Rilke meant when he wrote, "You must change your life." That's Invitation by Mary Oliver. You know what? Why do all of the very best poets quote Rilke? I need to read Rilke. That's what I'm learning right now because, God, yeah, Rilke is like all the best poets mention Rilke all the time, and I haven't done it. Paul says, "I'll take whatever I can get. This is a pleasant surprise." You know what else I think about that poem? Invitation by Mary Oliver. That is basically like Ross Gay's catalog of gratitude could be categorized as like a spin-off of that whole poem. Like every single part of it rings the exact same way, you know? It's the same thing. I'm getting used to this. Honestly, I wouldn't want to like so long as it picks a decent picture of my face to use, I'm cool with it too. Just don't tell me to start a podcast because the last thing I need in my life is another hobby. Like I do so many things in a mediocre fashion. Like I could do so much better at all of the things I do and instead I do all of them in a mediocre fashion. I don't need one more thing to do mediocrely. Christopher says, start a podcast. Christopher says, my favorite line from Samuel Beckett, try again, fail better, from Worstward Ho. Yeah, dude. Curiosity Podcast was a great listen. Victor, I didn't know you listened to that. Thank you. Thanks for putting up with all of that, because that was long. What do you do when you're suffering from writer's block? I'm currently going through a rough patch myself, and not in that waiting for inspiration strike sort of block, but a true incapacity to write. Salty, are you like sitting down at the computer or the pad and pen and nothing's coming? Or are you sitting down and what's coming is not good? Because I think they're different kinds of writer's block. David Foster Wallace always said, if you're suffering from writer's block, that mostly just means you have too high of expectations for yourself, which is kind of true. My advice for the kind where you can't write anything is to, no matter how dumb or cliched it seems, Google writing prompts. Like just use writing prompt to get anything on the page. If that makes sense. Like some of those prompts can be really silly, but you know, they're the ones that are like, write a short story using the cereal Fruit Loops, the band The Beatles, and the word troubadour, and have it switch perspectives halfway through. Or something a lot simpler than that. But like, I'm a big fan of writers, or from prompts if you're completely blocked from writing anything. If you're writing stuff that's just like crap, then that's just one of the phases, and it'll get better. But also good luck, because there's nothing worse. So I feel for you. I feel for you, my friend. I'm glad you're doing this despite the half nature of it. Yeah, thanks for, my God, you guys are the ones who deserve the credit. I can't believe people are hanging out for this. Like, ugh. I appreciate you guys, for sure. Writing tons of content and it's just not adding up to anything I enjoy. Thanks for the help. Okay, yeah. I mean, this is probably not easier to hear, but that's better than the other way. Like, at least you're getting stuff done. I have been in that boat a lot too. I will say, in this boat, if you're writing tons of content and it's not adding up to something larger than itself, you might do. It's kind of like being a runner, and you're running, but you're not sure you're in shape. One of the best things you can do is sign up for a race that scares the crap out of you, because then all of a sudden you've got to be in shape. Like you have a time and a place where like it's coming for you. In a similar way with writing, you might pick something that you are going to submit to, like something with a deadline, that can be missed if you fail. So that like you have to get a short story done for April 1st or something. That pressure can be super helpful for making sure to get stuff done. If that makes sense. Yeah, that's I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. I hope that helps. Yeah, I use that kind of deadline advice when I'm writing a bunch of stuff, but it's like not adding up to anything. And since it's not adding up to anything, I'm not excited to work on it. Like sometimes you just need a good, a good, something to whip you into shape. Steven says, keep digging. Yep. I see the Mars room behind you. Is that any good? I keep hearing about it. I am not super far. I'm like, pages into it. But yeah, I'm excited to read more of it. I don't know a ton, but so far, I'm excited to read it just because I love Rachel Kushner. So, how do you read? Lately, I find it difficult to get comfortable. Either my back starts aching or my other parts of the body are out of place. I start reading standing up or leaning on the wall. Literally, however you can. Since we're on a weird live stream already, I'll be really weird for you. My favorite place to read, one of my favorite places to read is on the toilet, because you just don't have to think about anything else. So there you go. And also, if you shut the bathroom door, then no one can talk to you. So I don't know any advice for how to get comfortable. Maybe other people in the chat will have advice. Toilet reading is great. Salty. Yeah, it has a deadline that has since passed, and it's crushing, but digging I shall. Keep fighting the good fight, friend. Howdy, G Blue Cheese. Welcome to the weirdest live stream ever. I apologize in advance. I think I read like half of American Gods there. Yeah, there have been books that I read almost entirely on the toilet, and it's the best. You can't compete with it. You can't compete. It's so good. +1 for toilet reading. Laying in bed can be tough. It also makes my neck hurt sometimes. Having a nice armchair is nice. Okay, guys, I hate to be weird, but we've been weird already, so I think I'm going to call it a night here. If you guys have any last questions or anything, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'll hang out here for a second. But this is G Blue Cheese. I feel so bad. You just showed up, and I'm going to have to end the live stream here. It's been a weird one, so yeah, it's been weird from start to finish. So live stream froze once, then it crashed, and I had to start a new one, and then it froze again. And here we are, making the best of a crappy situation. Thanks for geeking out on Mary Oliver with me, people. This was really good. Are you going to Dublin this Bloomsday? No, I wish. Not yet, anyways. I don't have any plans. I wouldn't say no if somebody wanted to fly me out there, but that's not happening. So, welcome return. Yeah, I'll see you guys next Monday. This is my plan. 7 o'clock next Monday. That's my plan. Thanks for geeking out about Mary Oliver with me, people. That was really beautiful. That was one of the more beautiful poetry readings we've done. Thanks to Mary Oliver for being the freaking best of all time. Definitely a memorable return, Ryan. Thanks. I'm procrastinating anyways. Yeah, well, procrastinate somewhere else. Get off my lawn. Something. Gonna say goodbye now. Goodbye, Michael. Thanks, alike. Thanks for hanging out, people.